What's going on, everybody? I'm Johnny Opinion Sports, and today we're going to talk about four edge rushers that I think the Giants could target this offseason. It's no secret that the Giants need edge rushers to get this defense to compete at a high level, and the four edge guys I chose could be had in that $4 to $8 million range. I also think these guys would all accept a one-year deal because they're either up there in age or they're looking for that prove-it deal. So let's dive right in. The first guy I chose was Melvin Ingram. If you like PFF, he had a 79.7 grade, which is excellent for PFF. Last season was probably the roughest of his career. He signed with the Steelers to be a depth edge rusher, a situational pass rush guy, and they trade him to the Chiefs. He never got a chance to settle in anywhere and make a huge impact. He only got like 58% of the defensive snaps on both sides. He only ended up producing 3 sacks. But Ingram's first few seasons, he kind of battled injuries, but he has shown he can stay on the field, putting up, 6 or 7 seasons without injury while playing, 85 to 90% of the defensive snaps. And in that stretch, he was highly productive, producing 7 to 10 sacks every season. He's just an all-around good player. He's a little bit of an older player now, so if he's brought in, I don't expect him to lock down one of them edge spots. I think you can use him on 50 to 70% of the snaps, and he can give you 5 to 6 sacks if he's used properly and obviously stays healthy. I think the Giants can kind of just sit back, be patient for agency, and grab Ingram for a reasonable price. Obviously, I don't want him on any more than a 1-year contract. I don't see anybody doing that anyways. I think Ingram brings a great situation for the Giants, though. If he was to sign, he can help the other young guys in the edge room. The Giants are probably drafting an edge rusher early in this year's draft. Ingram makes it so you don't have to rush in a rookie and overwhelm them. And there isn't unfair expectations on a rookie, which you never want. Because I think Ingram will be productive. And if the free agent market settles out properly, the Giants could sign him for that $4 to $5 million. But the next edge rusher I think the Giants could target is Justin Houston. Houston had a PFF grade of 77.9, so really good there. Here's why I think he's the most likely that the Giants will sign. He played last season in Wink Martindale's defense and was productive as hell. When I tried to find the sack totals or anything, it was really weird. I kept finding different sack totals, on different sites for him last season. One site says 6 sacks, another says 4.5. So I'm a bit confused, but either way, he was super productive. He did miss 2 games, so 4.5, 6 sacks in 15 games ain't bad when you're only playing so many snaps. So obviously, if he had more playing time, like a normal starter, and he put a full season together, I think he could still be an 8 to 12 sack guy. This is a guy that had a 22 sack season. In 5 of his seasons, he's had 9 or more sacks. He knows Wink's system, and I think Justin Houston could be an impact on all the younger guys in the team, just like Ingram. And I actually expect this signing. Unless he goes to a team where he already knows the system, I'm sure at Houston's age, he don't want to go somewhere where he needs to learn a whole new scheme. And the position he plays is wide open right now in the Giants. I love Quincy Roche, but he is not beating out Justin Houston. It's just not going to happen. No, I think Justin Houston would probably be the best pass rusher that's played on the Giants since Michael Strahan. I mean, if you want to argue just Justin Tuck, go ahead. I just think it's a perfect fit for both sides. Bring him in, Joe Shane, get it done. I'd be so happy to have Justin Houston on this team. And I think he can be had for that 1-year, $6-7 million deal. I'd pay that all day long for him. Give him a hefty signing bonus, and the money is not an issue here. Now, the next guy that I thought of is Charles Harris. He played in Detroit last season, and he had a really solid season. He had 8 sacks and finished with a 68.3 PFF grade. He pretty much had almost an identical season to Azeez Ojulari. I say that to help you picture his production. So up until this season, he's really just kind of been like a rotational edge rusher used on 20, 30, 40% of the defensive snaps. But he got his chance this time on a full-time gig. And listen, he showed flashes of high-end play from the edge. He's far from an elite player, but everything is in place for his career to really start to launch. No, I don't think he earned a huge payday. Most teams are going to want to see him string 2 good seasons before he gets a payday. Maybe a team can toss him a 3-4 year contract, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I definitely wouldn't if I was a GM. I'd give him a 1-year prove-it deal like we saw with players like Fackrell and Marcus Golden. And I think you can sign him for that $5-6 million range for next season. I think for that price, he's definitely worth taking a look at. He's relatively young. He's only played 5 seasons in the NFL. And if he blows up next season, I mean, you get a comp pick if he doesn't resign, or sign him, and your future edge rusher is in place. So I'll take either. I love the player. I think he's going to have a repeat season of last year. I think the Giants should be seriously targeting him. The last guy I think the Giants could target is Nwosu. He played with the Chargers last season. He really put on a show the second half of the season. He had a PFF grade of 64.3, but don't let that fool you. He looked like a complete different player down the stretch last year. He finally showed why he was drafted in the second round. I'm sorry about the college film. The Chargers have, I guess, very few fans and very little highlights, so this is the best I could do. But Nwosu has been productive in his career. Back-to-back 5-sack seasons should get a few teams' attention. But if the Giants are looking for a solid edge rusher for that right, for the right price, across from Aziz, Nwosu could be the guy. I think you could sign him for that $4 or $5 million range and just lock him up on the right edge for a season till a new rookie can take over, or Quincy Roche develops to a point to where he can take over. There were tons of other cheap options at defensive end. I just felt like these guys were the best fit for the team. And I also felt like the contracts were affordable for where the Giants are with their cap situation right now. I like Roche, and I view him as a quality depth player. I don't know with Ellerson Smith. He could be amazing. He could be the next O'Shane Ximines, who I think is going to be cut this offseason. That hurts to say. I personally see the Giants drafting an edge rusher in the first few picks of this year's draft and probably signing another. I want to know what you guys think of my edge rushers I chose. Is there another edge guy that I left out? Let me know in the comments. But anyway, just listen. Thank you all for the support I receive. I'm very grateful, very humbled the last month. Please that helps me grow. And if you're new, subscribe. I got tons of these kinds of Giants videos coming out. And I do tons of draft profiles of players coming out in this year's draft. I should be doing that all the way up to the draft. Anyways, everybody, it's freezing outside. Stay inside. Stay warm. Stay safe. Peace, y'all.